this is Carla, and welcome back to the studio. And welcome to May. It is May 1st, so this is our monthly Christmas card inspiration. So every month, on the first of the month, I post a pre-recorded video using some kind of Christmas themed stamp set or bundle, or maybe even a suite. And I will create two fairly simple, mass producible type of Christmas cards that you can create throughout the year. So the whole concept, the whole idea behind this is if you've always wanted to create your own Christmas cards, but find that near the end of the year, when it comes to the end of November with Thanksgiving and Christmas, that you run out of time and you don't get to make all the cards that you may need. So this gives you the inspiration to actually do your cards throughout the year. So then that way, after Thanksgiving, all you have to do is write in your cards, address them, and mail them off. So for this month, I am going to be using the vintage Christmas stamp set. Now, this stamp set had, let's see, I believe this had been in our last holiday mini catalog, and it had retired. Now with the stamp set, it did oh man, words are hard. It coordinates with the vintage bottle punch. Now this was in our annual catalog, and this has retired. So at the recording of this, our annual catalog had retired on April 30th, and today, I'm sorry guys, I'm doing so many videos. I did my paper pumpkin, and now I'm doing my Christmas one, and then tomorrow there's the Throwback Thursday, so I'm getting all messed up on the videos that I'm doing. I apologize. But anyway, so this was in our annual catalog that retired on April 30th, and this did sell out prior to the catalog being done. Now, this is May 1st, so with that, our new annual catalog has come out, and let me bring that out just really, really quick so I can make mention of this ahead of time. I do have to go walk over to my desk to go and get it. So this is our new annual catalog. This is now officially live. So if you are not working with another demonstrator, or you're not a demonstrator yourself, and you would like a copy of this catalog, my email address is below in the description of this video. Simply just send me an email with your name and your complete mailing address, and I will get one of these out to you in the mail, okay? So I just wanted to bring that up because today is the day that this catalog goes live. So let's get to our projects and let's get these done. So like I said, this stamp set was in our last holiday mini catalog, and it does coordinate with the vintage bottle punch. So I will be using this punch on one of our projects for this episode. Okay, so for my first card, like I said, these cards are fairly simple and easy so that you can easily mass produce them. So for my card base, I have a piece of crumb cake. This measures 11 by 4 1/4, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. I have a piece of soft succulent cardstock. This measures 5 by 2. I am also bringing in some new color. So this is the new basic beige cardstock. This is a new, is it one of the basic, what do they call it? The basics color. It's, we have our white, we have very vanilla, we have basic black, and this is basic beige. Now with the beige, we have this in the cardstock and the ink pad and the reinker. There is not a Stampin' Write marker, nor is there a set of blends that go with this color. So this is a new color that I'm bringing into the project for today. So this piece here measures 3 3/4 by 2.5. And then I have a scrap of basic beige as well. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to fold and I'm going to burnish my card base. Bring in my bone folder. Okay, we'll set that aside. Then on this piece here, I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper. Let me grab a piece from in here really quick. Okay, and then on here, I'm going to bring in, so the colors of ink that I'm going to use for this project is Soft Succulent, Evening Evergreen, Cherry Cobbler, and Pecan Pie. So I'm going to bring in Soft Succulent, and I'm going to bring in this little stamp here that has the berries and the pine on it. And I'm going to randomly stamp this on this piece here. I'm not looking for anything perfect. I just want to randomly put some of these on here just to kind of fill in the space. And we'll add one more right here. Okay, and then we close this up. Then I'm going to put this aside. Now what I'm going to do with this piece, and this is where all my punching, cutting, embossing, all that other stuff, I do that all at the same time. So I'm going to take this piece of Soft Succulent and I'm going to emboss it with the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. And this is a nice subtle embossing folder, so I'm going to set that aside. Then on this piece here, I'm going to bring in the greeting that says Making Spirits Bright, and I'm going to stamp that in Cherry Cobbler. I'll ink this up. I'm going to stamp this right down here like so. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in, let's see, let me bring in my chamois and let me clean this stamp off really quick. So on here, I'm going to take this and my Evening Evergreen ink, and I'm going to stamp this twice up here in this corner here. Kind of do 2 of them. Okay. And then I'm going to use my Cherry Cobbler Stampin' Write marker. This marker, these colors, you can't buy them individually. They are in a 10-pack with their color collection. So this color is in the Regals. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to color in really quickly these little berries here that's from this stamp. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in the 2 bottle stamps. So there's a taller one that works with the punch, and then the other one is a little bit wider and smaller. So that one, I'm going to ink this one up first, and I'm going to stamp this right over on this side right here. And then I'm going to take and put that aside. And then this taller scrap piece of basic beige. I'm going to stamp this bottle right here. And then I'm going to bring in my punch. And I'm going to punch this out. Just line that up. Like so. Punch that out. Put that aside. Okay, so I'm going to take these pieces now. I'm going to place them on the side here. And I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to go ahead and emboss this soft succulent piece. I will be right back. Okay, so let me bring in all of my pieces here. So for this piece that I embossed, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Seal. And I'm also going to bring in my silicone craft sheet. Now, when you go to use this, if you find that the adhesive isn't right at the tip when you're trying to put it on your cardstock, use your silicone craft sheet and just run it on there a little bit, and then it'll bring the adhesive to the tip of the dispenser. Okay, and then I'm going to add this right over here, like so. And then I'm going to take this piece here, add some adhesive to the back of this. And I'm going to add this right here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. Got a sheet here that I've started. And I'm going to add a few to the back of this bottle. Okay, I'm going to add this one right here. Make sure that we got it straight. Okay, and then I want to bring in my Wink of Stella. So, where's my Wink of Stella? Oh, put it in another container here. So let me quickly grab that. This is a week with a lot of back-to-back videos, so I have another video that I'm actually going to be recording today that I'll schedule for Thursday. It's Thursday's video. Okay, so I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and I'm going to brush some on these bottles. Now what it's doing, the Wink of Stella, it is pulling some of that ink, so it is kind of filling in some of those spots that had the basic beige showing through, but that's okay. Just going to add some sparkle onto this bottle, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the taller one. Okay, so we got one more element for this to add a little more sparkle to it. So I'm going to bring in my iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. Now these were are an embellishment that did retire with our annual catalog, which was kind of sad because I really like these. They're really sparkly and they really take on the color underneath them where you place them. So I did stock up on some of these before they were completely gone. So, okay, so I'm going to add, we have 3 different sizes and I'm going to use one of each size on my card. So I'm going to add like 3 of them to my card. We'll put one right up there. Okay, so there is our first card. Let me show you. Just a very simple, easy, mass-producible card. So there's our first one. On to our second. Okay, so for my second card, I have a piece of basic white thick. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4.25. I have 3 strips, one in cherry cobbler, soft succulent, and evening evergreen. These are approximately probably like about 8 inches or so long. You just want them a little bit longer. These are being trimmed down, but each one of these measures 5/8 of an inch across. And then I have some scraps of just regular basic white. So to start off, I'm going to fold and burnish my card base. I say, with those strips, if you cut them like about 8 inches on, then you'll know that they're long enough to go across your card base. Okay, so now for this, I'm going to bring in, so what I'm doing with these strips, they're going to go diagonal like so on the bottom part of the card like this. So you can see some of the pieces I really didn't need them that long, but I just gave that measurement so then that way you'll be okay. So let me bring in my silicone craft sheet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with my evening evergreen. I want to see where it is that I'm going to place it. I want to place it about here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my adhesive. I'm going to try and bring in my adhesive. And I'm going to add a strip of that like so. And I'm going to place my strip on here like so. Now, yes, it's hanging off a bit, but that's okay because I will be trimming it down. So let me actually get this down past the base of the card. So, okay, and then I'm going to add another bit of adhesive right here. And I'm going to add my soft succulent like so. And then I'm going to add another strip of adhesive. It's not fully going. And then I'm going to take my piece of cherry cobbler and I'm going to add that right about there. Okay, and I'm going to press these down really well. Now, I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to be doing some die cutting as well. So I'm going to trim all of this and I'll do all that at the same time, okay? So I'm going to set this aside. Now, on my bigger scrap of basic white, I'm going to use the Deckled Circles dies. Now, these dies were in our last annual catalog. and they have carried over. Okay, so I don't have the catalog. Well, I'm not going to open the catalog right now, but these are either in the new annual catalog or they carried over to the online exclusive. So either way, they're still available. So with this deckled circle die, I'm going to die cut it out of this piece. So I'm going to set that aside. Then on these pieces here, I'm going to bring in my soft succulent ink again. And I'm going to bring in the smaller bottle. And I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp that. Right in the middle here. Now, since there's no die for this, this is something that we will have to fussy cut, so I'm going to set that aside. Then, for this bigger piece, we're going to do a little bit of some building of our stamps. So I have my soft suede ink, and I have Evening Evergreen. And I also have Cherry Cobbler. Okay, so what I'm going to start off, there's this one stamp that has this cluster of these pine cones and also the flower centers. So I'm going to ink this up in soft suede. I found that this was the easiest way for me to line these all up. So I'm going to come right here with it. Stamp that. And then I'm going to bring in the cluster of the flowers and I'm going to ink that up in my Cherry Cobbler. And I'm going to line up these flower centers with this one here. So I'm going to kind of get up on my tippy toes and bring it a little bit closer to myself so I could see, so I can line it up. And it touched the paper before I was ready to. It should be okay. Okay, so that's not bad. Just went off just a little tiny bit, but that's okay. All right, and then let me close this up so we don't have any catastrophes here with the ink. So I'm done with this. And then with the Evening Evergreen, there is this other stamp that has like all this greenery in it. I'm going to ink this up. Now this lines up where this part right here that you see, this little bump right there, this goes over this pine cone right here. So again, I'm going to bring this a little bit closer to myself and try and get this lined up. So that way the base of the greenery is touching the tops of those flowers. Like so. Okay, so with this, there is no die that cuts this out. So this would have to be fussy cut. Now, I'm going to tell you that when I created the sample cards, I went and I had fussy cut this, and I'll tell you that it didn't feel good cutting this out. It kind of hurt, I'm still dealing with my hand hurting a little bit. So I had already cut one out, so I don't need to recut another one. So I'm going to set that aside and I'll use that for a later project. So I already have this cut out. So I'm going to set that aside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I am going to die cut this deckled circle. I will then fussy cut out this bottle and I will also trim these strips off of my card base. So I will be right back. Okay, so let's kind of put this all together. So let me bring in my bone folder again and let me just crease that again. Okay, so then on this piece right here, I'm going to bring back in my soft suede ink. And so this way it will stand out, because when you look at this and I put this on the card base, the white kind of gets hidden in with the card base. So to make this stand out a little bit, I'm going to just take my pad, I'm going to take the edge of this and I'm just going to roll it in my ink pad just to get some of that ink on the edges like so. That way you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so then let me bring in my silicone craft sheet and my adhesive. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of this. And I'm going to place this right here on my card base. Like so. Okay, and then I'm going to take, I have a little stamp here that says a very Merry Christmas to you. And I'm going to bring in my evening Evergreen ink. And I'm going to ink, make sure I got it the right way. I'm going to ink this up. Make sure that my card's straight. And I'm going to stamp it over on this side here. Like so. Okay. So the stamping's done. Okay. Now I'm going to take the bottle and some dimensionals. I'm going to add some on the back of this. And then I'm also going to add some onto the back of the flowers. So you can see I stamped on the other side. It was a little off with the pine, with the centers with the flowers. So, okay. So now I'm going to take this bottle and I'm going to place this right about right here. Like so. And then this cluster of flowers, I'm going to add that right above the bottle like so. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my Wink of Stella and I'm going to add some to the bottle. And then I'm going to add some to just pine cones. And I'll also do it for the center. Well, I don't really need, I just realized I didn't have to add it to the center of those flowers because I'm going to be putting some embellishments on there. So I didn't need to do that. So I'm bringing in my iridescent rhinestone basic jewels again. And where's my take your pick tool? So I'm going to take one of the larger ones and I'll put it in the center of this larger flower. And then we have a medium for this one. And it's getting all wonky on me. And then we got a small one that we'll put right. We're going to try and put it in the center of this flower, like so. Okay, so there is our second card. Very simple, very glitzy. Let me bring in my first card. So here's our first one and our second. So these are the Christmas card inspiration cards for the month of May. And I had featured the vintage Christmas photopolymer stamp set along with the coordinating vintage bottle punch. So if you like these projects, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. It does help me in not only building my channel, but then it also helps me in building my Stampin' Up! Business. So I thank you everyone for joining me, and I will see you next month with another Christmas card inspiration. Bye bye for now. Have a blessed one.